Millions of people are finally starting to wake up. And I'm telling you right now, if this trend continues, we may actually stand a fighting chance of taking back all that we have lost. And when you think about what we've lost, we've lost a lot. We have actually lost a piece of ourselves. We've lost our spirit and our spark. Not completely. There's still a small piece of it there, but we are actively losing it every single day. But the fact that people are starting to wake up and see things for what they really are is an amazing thing. This may actually be the turning point, and I have felt this. I have felt the shift in the global or collective consciousness, and let me know down in the comments below if you felt this too, because I think a lot of y'all probably have. I've heard people talking about this. As a matter of fact, I saw some stuff online just a couple days ago that has really illustrated the fact that the global consciousness is starting to shift. It really illustrated the fact that people are waking up and they're starting to dig their heels in. I have actually thought about this quite a bit over the last 10 or so years, and I've wondered every single day, at what point do we draw the line? When are we going to draw that hard line in the sand and dig our heels in and not allow anybody to cross it? And every single year that has passed, I've been baffled. I've been dumbfounded at the fact that we continue to be pushed back. We never draw that hard line, and we allow ourselves to get walked all over. But now, I think what is happening is that they have pushed too far. They're throwing too many things at us at one time, and it is impossible for people not to take notice. And now people have noticed, and they're starting to stand up, and they're starting to push back. They're starting to draw that hard line in the sand, and they're refusing to allow anybody to cross it. People are starting to realize that all these ideas and all this tyrannical stuff, all these agendas that are being pushed to us that nobody asked for, they're realizing that these are psyops. They are an inception. They are seeds that are planted into our minds. They are not our ideas. People have fallen for it, but they're realizing now that they have fallen for it. They're realizing now that it's all an agenda to control us, to bring us down, to hold us down at the lower level so that they can basically take over everything. They can have all the money, they can have all the stuff, and we'll just be peasants that are left to fend for ourselves and pick up the scraps. People are realizing that, and people are waking up to that fact. And this isn't conspiracy. If you think about the early 1900s, there have been some government-funded projects, MK Ultra, Project Mockingbird, all these CIA operatives and all these black projects. There are a lot of them out there that were specifically designed and engineered to figure out what makes us tick and to figure out how to break us. And they got all the information from those projects that they needed, and those projects never stopped. Even though they were from the early 1900s, they never stopped. They still use that data, and they use what they learned on us to this very day. You think about the media, mainstream media, social media, all these algorithms that are owned by the same people. It all stems from all those projects that they ran on us, all these experiments that they have done on us. And there have been numerous experiments since then. The last 5 years have proved that. It's shown us that they are willing to experiment on us, and they have gathered all the data they need to know exactly what buttons to push, what levers to pull, and how to control us, how to break us, how to bring us down. People are also realizing that the system is a trap. It is engineered and designed to keep us trapped for as long as possible. The rat race, the 9 to 5, the daily grind, all that stuff, that's what it's there for. It's there to keep us working, a cog in the machine for as long as humanly possible. And for most people, that's going to mean 65 or 67 years old. And then you get out and you get 10 years. You get 10 years because the average life expectancy for women is 77 and for men it's 74. So you get 10 years to live out all your dreams, all the things that you've been putting off your entire life because you had to work, and specifically now because you had to work a lot more because things are so expensive and wages haven't increased. So you've worked your entire life away for 10 years to now do the things in life that you want to do. There are a lot of people now waking up to that fact, realizing that the system is 100% designed for that very reason, to keep us trapped, to keep us pinned down, and to keep us a cog in the machine. And they're simply not participating. They are blazing their own path. They're getting out and they're finding alternative ways to do things. That is exactly what I did. Last year at the age of 39, I got away from that system. I walked away from it, and I am figuring it out. And there are a lot of people that are also doing that, and a lot of people are leaving without a plan in place. And that's kind of a tough situation, but for them, just like for me, taking that risk is much better than working your entire life away knowing that you're living a lie, knowing that you're falling into this facade and this illusion. You're involved in this psyop that most of us have fallen victim to, and a lot of people, just like me, are not willing to live with that. People are also waking up to the fact that division and all this stuff that seeks to basically destroy this country is, like I mentioned before, it's an inception. These are ideas that have been planted into our minds. All this stuff stems from those projects, those experiments that they've done on us to figure out what makes us tick and to figure out how to break us. They're realizing that. They're realizing that their neighbors are not the enemy. And they're actually starting to channel that energy, all that negative emotion, all the anxiety and stress and the fear. They're channeling it to the places it needs to now go, which is the actual enemy, the people that don't have our best interests in mind. People are realizing that us, ourselves, our neighbors, our friends, our family are not the problem. And in general, I would just say that people are waking up. They are seeing through the illusion. They're seeing the facade. They're seeing the lies. And they're being enlightened. They're feeling the shift. They're feeling the consciousness change. Instead of feeling fear and anxiety, there's a shift towards optimism and positivity. And that's an amazing thing, because people are getting back to independent thought. They are no longer allowing these ideas and these seeds and these ideologies that are not our own. They're not allowing these things to control our mind. They're not allowing them in. They're thinking for themselves. They're doing their own research, and they're figuring it out on their own. And there are a few prime examples of this. The Buy Nothing Rebellion is in full swing right now. There are a lot of people that are opting out from buying all this junk, all this garbage that is imported from China, and essentially ends up in a landfill because it's all made with an expiration date. It's disposable stuff that we are buying. And not only are we buying junk, stuff that is not quality, but it is priced exponentially higher than what it should be. We're paying exorbitant prices for stuff that is meant to be thrown away. And people are realizing that it's not worth it. Why are we spending money on all this stuff, all this garbage that we don't need to impress people that don't care about us? And why are we spending all this insane amount of money on this stuff that is garbage? It's just made to throw away. It just doesn't make sense. People are realizing that. And that is leading to the Buy Nothing Rebellion, where people are just swearing off buying pretty much anything. Anything that we don't need, they're trimming the fat and they're cutting that out, and they're choosing to buy from local producers, real people, real families, farms, local businesses, people that actually care about the consumer and do have our best interests in mind. Those are the people that we are now shopping with. As a matter of fact, I just saw a video a couple days ago talking about the Texas State Fair. They were going in and recording videos of the fair, and they were doing like drone footage and stuff of the fairgrounds, and there was nobody there. It was like zombie apocalypse had taken over, and it was completely deserted. And the reason for that is because greed has taken over. The vendors and stuff there, and the people that run the fair, they were charging vendors $8,000 just to set up in there. And of course the vendors, they have to pass the cost down to the consumer. So then they were charging like $24 for a turkey leg, and I think it was like $40 to park. And then of course you have to buy tickets to ride rides and all that stuff. So the fair, which used to be something that was for everybody, is now for the rich. They're now treating it like Disneyland, like it's some sort of amusement park, and people simply can't afford it. So they drew the line in the sand. They put their foot down. They said, you know what? I'm not going to the fair. I am not willing to participate in this insanity. People have woken up to the fact that greed is taken over, and that's all people care about is money and profit, and they are not participating. They are digging their heels in, and they're pushing back, which is something that should have happened a long time ago. But I am very grateful to see that this is happening now. It is amazing to see that people are doing this, because throughout my entire life, a lot of these things are the way that I've lived my life. I woke up to the idea that we'd been fed a bill of lies a mile long quite a long time ago, many, many years ago, in fact. And I've structured my life in a way that basically allows me not to participate in these things. I have chosen to opt out. Like I mentioned, I left the workforce because I don't align with that entire idea, that facade that we've been fed, all those lies, I don't align with it. So I removed myself from that situation. I've largely removed myself from certain aspects of society because they don't align with my beliefs. They don't align with me and the way that I choose to live my life. I would much rather be completely alone, isolated, right here on my farm with my dog, than to go out and participate in this illusion and all these lies that we've been fed, because I know the truth about things. And this is what people are starting to realize. This is the awakening that is happening. And it's an amazing thing to see, because I know, based off my own personal experience and the way that I've been living my life, there are a lot of benefits that can come from this. You save a ton of money. You start to find peace. You start to find your purpose. You can go after the things in life that you truly want, and you start to think for yourself. And that right there is probably the most important thing out of all this, because when you start to think for yourself, everything else just tends to fall into place. And one of the primary reasons I believe people are starting to wake up is because they're stopping to ask themselves a very simple and fundamental question. Every time an idea and a seed is planted into our minds, every time we're faced with division, every time we're faced with something that we don't align with, people are now stopping to ask themselves, who benefits from this? Why are they doing this? And who benefits from this? When we ask ourselves that question, we're going to find that the answer is kind of dark, but it is very, very necessary. And we're also going to find that the answer has been there all along. We just haven't been looking for it. But now we are. And not only are we looking for it, we are actively seeking it out. And that is going to be the turning point. That right there is going to be the thing that allows us to take back all that we have lost.